Okay, HDFS 492 students, let's talk more about researching the problem. So there's two relevant assignments for this, the group assignment that's project information and the research brief, which is an individual assignment. So for the project information group assignment, it's deceptively simple. You're essentially submitting four things. The primary topic, problem, or issue that you're going to be focusing on in your proposal. So for example, child maltreatment in early childhood. The population that you're going to be targeting for your intervention. So for example, pregnant mothers and partners with at least one risk factor for child maltreatment. The evidence-based program that your group has selected with a hyperlink, and the agency, organization, school, or company that your group has selected, again with a hyperlink. I will note that because it's focused on so much in the workbook, we're going to prohibit the use of PEARLS as your evidence-based program. But I intentionally removed and disguised the evidence-based programs in the sample proposals so you wouldn't be also limited by those as well. Okay, let's talk more about your individual assignment, the research brief. So here's a couple of slides. It's 2.5-page minimum, not counting the cover page and the references. I want you to use APA 7th edition formatting for your in-text citations in your reference list, and I'm also requiring APA level 1 headings. There's 5 sections, and so you'll have 5 level 1 headings so that we can clearly track, that you're addressing all sections. You're going to be finding 3 peer-reviewed journal articles published within the last 15 years, and at least one of those needs to be a source related to your evidence-based program, journal article preferred. If you find a source, for example, that's a website and not a journal article, then you'll have to have 3 additional peer-reviewed journal articles. If one of your journal articles is on the evidence-based program, then you're fine. You can just have 3 total. You can use more than 3, and certainly if you have a source that's older than 15 years, you can incorporate it, but you still need to have 3 journal articles from within the last 15 years. And I'm going to encourage you, and it's on the assignment guidelines as well, to make sure that you paraphrase and cite and do not quote. We'll take off 1 point, which is kind of a lot of points in a 35-point assignment, for each quote over 1. Okay, so here's the sections of the research brief. Each of these 5 sections, we're requiring a half-page minimum. You could write more, but you need to get a half-page in each one to get credit for that section. Make sure you take a look at the rubric. And we want things to be specific, not vague, and well-cited. So in the overview, you're giving an overview of the problem, like child maltreatment that you're planning on addressing. Then you're going to go into a section on prevalence. How many people are affected by child maltreatment? What are our recent trends? Is it increasing? Is it decreasing? What are the long-term effects of experiencing child maltreatment? Risk factors, what makes people more vulnerable to maltreating children as parents, for example, or being a child who's experiencing child maltreatment? What are the protective factors? Often things like social support, crisis intervention. And what is the effectiveness of the evidence-based program that you've selected? What's the research say that it has shown to, has documentation where it's been shown to create changes or improvements, and why is it a good match for your program? Okay, as always, there's a variety of resources available on Canvas, so make sure you read in depth the research brief guidelines and worksheet. Take a look again at that rubric, and then there's a couple of library handouts researching the evidence-based program, if you haven't already taken a look at that, researching the problem as well. And then we have APA 7th edition PowerPoint resources and requirements. In terms of deadlines, most things in this class we accept late with a 5% deduction per day without, with no kind of limit. However, because the research brief has implications for being well prepared in your group and being able to contribute to writing these initial sections, specifically the problem statement. I would like everyone in your group to have it completed. And so students who don't complete the research brief within 5 days, unless they have documentation from an approved source and have been in contact with me, are going to receive a 0 on it and are going to need to meet with me in order to continue in the class. Students who receive less than a 70%, not counting any late penalties within that 5-day range, will need to rewrite it within 1 week in order to kind of keep receiving grades.